the Quran and the ethics of war. There are debates about whether or not the Quran's approach to war is ethically acceptable. The Quran's attitude towards war is ethically acceptable, but I cannot claim the same for the Muslims. There are four possible alternatives for going to war. First, to fight without a rational justification. This is in total contradiction with the Quran, since with no verse of the Quran can this approach be approved. In the history, the Thugs, an organized group of robbers who lived in India, is a good example of this attitude. They used to kill the trespassers as offering to Goddess Kali with no rational reason at all. Second, to fight with rational justifications. Almost all the wars have some kind of rational justification, which may also include economic reasons. Although many may approve rational reasons to go to war, like one of the greatest realists, Machiavelli, it cannot be approved from an ethical perspective. The Quran does not allow this approach also. It gives permission to fight only for defensive reasons, as stated in chapter 22, verse 39, for example. Chapter 22, verse 39. To those against whom war is made, permission is given, because they are wronged. But unfortunately, throughout the history, politicians and jurists who are under their influence have surpassed the authority of the Quran with false interpretations, abrogation claims, and fabricated hadiths, and presented an offensive Islam. Third, pacifism in every circumstances. The Quran does not preach total pacifism, but at the same time always prefers forgiveness, as stated in chapter 41, verse 34. Good and evil are not alike. Repel evil with what is good. Then you will find your former enemy like a close, affectionate friend. And chapter 42, verse 43. But he who bears with patience and forgives surely complies with divine resolve. Although the Quran praises forgiveness, it does not preach pacifism in every condition. Muslims, according to the Quran, are required to fight back when their religion or society are under attack. So, there is no total pacifism in the Quran. Fourth, to fight for reasonable, just causes. The verses of the Quran give permission to fight for a just cause only, which is clearly defined as being attacked. Meaning, the only way for Muslims to go to war is for defensive reasons. No other reason can be approved. When we consider these four options, the final option, going to war for reasonable, just causes, is the only option the Quran approves and the only option which can be approved ethically. Even in international law, self-defense is accepted as an inherent right. For example, Article 51 in the Charter of the United Nations, people who face aggression have a right to self-defense. In addition to the just declaration of a war, the way a warfare is conducted using bello is also important in terms of ethics of war. Because a just war can be conducted unjustly, and just the opposite, an unjust war can be conducted justly. The verse of the Quran is also important for this subject. Chapter 2, verse 190 says, "Fight those in the way of God who fight you, but do not be aggressive. God does not like aggressors." While the Quran gives permission to fight back against those who start an aggression, it requires Muslims to fight with equal force. The Muslims are not permitted to exceed the limits and become aggressive instead of defensive. Also tells Muslims to cease the war even if the attacker seeks peace. Chapter 8, verse 61. "But if they are inclined to peace, make peace with them." Chapter 60, verse 8. "God does not forbid you from being kind and acting justly towards those who did not fight over faith with you, nor expelled you from your homes. God indeed loves those who are just." John Rawls says, "No state has a right to war in the pursuit of its rational as opposed to its reasonable interests." And the majority who study the ethics of war are of the same idea. This is in line with Islam's orders. However, we have to have a clear separation between Islam and Muslims. Even if Muslims are supposed to be followers of Islam, they have their rational and personal interests, which in many cases have surpassed their religious duties. In fact, These interests were mainly the interests of the political elite, the people who are conducting the wars for their rational power calculations use Islam for motivating the masses. As a result, jihad has become a mechanism of persuasion. That is why I say that jihad is used as rhetoric.